Ghosts, what if the dead aren't silent, only silenced? We are taught to laugh at creaks and cold spots, to blame the mind for what the eyes insist they saw. Wind, wiring, wishful thinking, case closed. Yet the stories persist. A whisper in an empty hall, footsteps pacing a corridor that ends in a wall, a voice on tape that answers a question no one asked aloud. If this is nonsense, why has power spent so long trying to tidy it away? Priests still trained to cast out what doctrine calls darkness, even as pulpits speak carefully of metaphor. Governments have funded men in windowless rooms to look with their eyes closed, to find what maps could not. Archivists lock records behind oak and oath, and Hollywood does the rest, flooding us with clowns and jump scares until the genuine shiver feels ridiculous. Ridicule is a cheaper lock than iron. Across time, the descriptions rhyme. Luminous shapes at the threshold, the weight on a mattress as if someone sat, the repetition always, the repetition of the woman on the stairs, the soldier at the gate, the child by the well, trapped in a loop like a groove worn into the world. And always, when the air goes strange and the skin prickles, the needles twitch, a radio's hiss, a meter's climb, a light that won't hold steady. Perhaps the dead don't move the machines. Perhaps the machines expose the seam. There are places the map marks in red, forests where compasses turn traitor, old bases with stories the guards won't tell, houses bought and sold through shell names, as if a deed could muzzle a room. On certain nights, eclipses, storms, the moon swollen and white, the veil thins, reports spike. The careful men come with clipboards and leave with nothing but silence. Maybe we've asked the wrong question. Maybe ghost is only the mask our language gives to whatever strains through, the echo of a moment burned into stone, a fold in time that lets yesterday leak, an intelligence that dresses itself in our grief, so we'll look it in the face, or a fault in the code, if there is code. Déjà vu as a skipped frame, the apparition as an unerased line. Still, there are the other stories, the ones told quietly, eyes lowered, hands wrapped around tea gone cold. A soldier who saw a friend already dead, a nurse who watched a shadow step from a body and pause, as if deciding, a child who knew a name no living soul had spoken in that house. We file these away as kindnesses of the brain, yet the pattern returns, patient as tie. Why keep us laughing? Because the alternative is costly. If consciousness can survive flesh, graves are not endings, but thresholds. If thresholds can be crossed, then rules can be broken about spirit, about matter, about who holds the key. Faith would bend, science would widen, power would loosen. Perhaps that is why the curtain is thickened with noise, static from towers, hum from wires, screens in every room, because quiet is dangerous. In quiet, you hear the other room breathing. I have not seen a woman on the stairs, but I have felt a room notice me back. I have watched a house try to speak in the language of flicker and chill. I have listened to those who carry their encounters like a bruise that won't fade. Their stories are not perfect. Neither are they nothing. Maybe not everyone lingers. Maybe some pass cleanly and some are snagged by love or violence or the sudden wrench of an unfinished sentence. Maybe some of what we meet is not them at all, but the scar left by what happened here. Maybe some is neither dead nor living, but something that prefers us curious rather than brave. What happens after we die is the question at the root of every lock. So the locks multiply. Doctrine, mockery, noise. Yet the seam remains, silver in the dark, waiting for the one honest moment when a person stands very still and asks, without fear or performance, who's there? Sometimes, the house answers, not to frighten, to wake, and somewhere beyond the wall, something that remembers being human presses a palm against the place where the plaster is thinnest, and waits for us to press back.